Well, heidi ho, my peeps. I'm in the mood to make fry bread because I'm craving what we call Indian tacos. They're also called Navajo tacos. Um, and I think a bunch of other names, but you start with a fry bread. So I've got my flour here, got my other stuff out, the baking powder and the salt. I've never made this before, so I've been watching a bunch of videos about how to do it. I need to clean off my little counter area before I get into it. But I want to show you why I have been missing for the past week or so. Ta-da! That's why. Say hi to my little frozen toes. Pretty sure I've got another stress fracture in my foot. It's been 2 weeks. I've been in horrible pain. I think I'm going to turn this around so I can see you. Hopefully I'm in frame. Bad pain, and it doesn't, the pain does not respond to Aleve, which is an anti-inflammatory. It does respond to tramadol, but I no longer have my prescription for tramadol, so I've tried to make it last. I have had my last bottle of tramadol last me about 3 years, so I'm trying to, just take that maybe every third or fourth day so that I can get some deep sleep because the pain is keeping me awake. I could right now get in the car and go to the emergency room, but that frightens the crap out of me. I do not want to go down to the emergency room if I can avoid it. So I have a call in to the doctor's office to see if they can get me in a regular appointment. I don't know how all that's going to go, but Grattan found my boot from the last time I did this, and it's really helping. I have only had it on for about 20 minutes or so, and it really makes a difference to have your foot immobilized, or to have my foot immobilized. Anyway, point is, that's why I haven't been around. I have been in too much pain to even think about doing a video. And I also haven't been cooking or doing much. I mean, I try to sit in my little chair here and wash dishes or throw stuff into the laundry or whatever. Even that's been tough the past 3 or 4 days. So that's where I'm at, and that's why I haven't been around. But I'm just feeling like cooking, so let's make some Indian/Navajo tacos. Yeah, getting a good recipe for fry bread is a little difficult because most of the people who've made the videos that I've looked at, they do it by feel. So the best I can figure is about 2 cups of flour, if you're going to make a small batch, to about a tablespoon of baking powder and about a teaspoon of salt. You don't need to use salt if you don't want to. It's just for taste. I did. Now, some people put a little bit of dried milk and then they use water to make the dough. Other people use milk or a combination of milk and water. Whatever you use, whether it's water and or milk, you have to make sure it's warm. So I have just a random glass of warm water, and I'm going to start adding it slowly and mixing this up by hand until I get a soft dough. I don't have my tripod, so I'm going to go ahead and just start doing that. And when the dough gets to a consistency that looks like the consistency I've seen on the other videos, I will stop and show you. It's easy to accidentally add too much water, which I've done here. This is just way too wet, obviously. Well, the way you fix that is you just add back in a little bit of flour. So I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start shaking a little bit of flour back into here until the dough is dry enough that it pulls away from the sides of my container. Okay, this dough looks about right. Let's see if I can get a better angle for you. I'm sitting, so it's tough. Anyhow, it's a nice, soft dough. See how that's Just nice and soft. It doesn't stick to my hands much. It's not sticking to the sides of the container. Now all you don't want to work the dough too much because it will be stiff. So I'm just kind of working it a little bit like this, just right in the bowl. I'm not taking it out and kneading it. Just going to work it a little bit like that. Just like that. And now I'm going to just leave it in the bottom of this bowl in a little ball. I'm going to cover it with a towel and I'm going to let it set for 20 or 30 minutes to rise. Okay, while the dough is rising, I thought I'd talk about the topping for these tacos. What you normally see is a refried bean base that's been thinned down with water, so it's like pourable or spreadable, something you can use a ladle with and spread it onto the top of the taco. I've often seen it with whole beans mixed into the refried beans as well. And then also ground beef. Of course, it needs to be seasoned. And that's what my Mexican spice blend that I make is for. So I will season the meat as I cook it. Then I will add the refried beans, and then I will water the whole thing down so it's a much, so it's a spreadable. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to add these chili beans. And then I don't happen to have any appropriate cheese, but I did have some of this salsa con queso, which I can put on the top as well. Now, you also generally want to add white onion, lettuce, or, some sort of green thing, generally lettuce, and tomato. So, I'm going to go ahead and cook up my ground beef now, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we add the refried beans, watered down, and the chili beans. Okay, so I've dumped in both my can of chili beans and my can of refried beans. But as you can tell, that's pretty stiff. That's not going to be able to ladle that on real easily. So I've got some warm water here. I'm going to add a little bit. I added about a half a can. Oh yeah, this is gonna mix up just fine. That's gonna give me a nice kind of a meat sauce, a bean and meat sauce to put on top of those fry breads. Now, I used about 3 tablespoons of my Mexican spice blend in my ground beef. That could be the wrong move in terms of a semi-authentic, a stab at authentic Navajo tacos. I don't know really what spice you're supposed to use, but because I like my Mexican spice, that's what I'm using. I know it's not, from the same tradition, but I really like the taste. So anyhow, now we've got something that will ladle nicely onto the top of our fry bread. I'm going to set this aside, and right before I assemble the tacos, I will go ahead and heat this up so it'll be nice and hot when we put it on top of the fry bread. Okay, here are my onions and tomatoes all chopped up and waiting for us. I cleaned my frying pan and dried it so it's ready to fry up the fry breads with. However, I don't have the kind of oil that they suggest. You're supposed to use either vegetable oil or a combination of vegetable oil and either Crisco or lard. You could also use straight lard if you wanted to. I don't have any of those things, but I do have coconut oil. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a try with the coconut oil and see if I can't get a decent result. I'm used to frying stuff in coconut oil. That's about all I ever use anymore for frying stuff. So, in about 10 minutes, when my dough has finished rising, I will go ahead and show you how how I'm supposed to shape these little fry bread patties. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I mean, it looks like there's some real technique to doing this, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and transfer this into my frying pan, and I will come back when it's time to fry them up. All right, I'm gonna see if I can't prop you here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. This is definitely not a how-to or a DIY recipe video. This is just me sitting in my kitchen today trying to make these Indian tacos. All right, so my dough's been sitting around for, I don't know, 30 minutes. It looks like it's gotten a little bit of raise up. Now what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to pinch off about a baseball size piece of this stuff. This off to the side. I have my my oil heating up right now, so anyhow, this dough may be a little bit wet. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go ahead and see what happens. So anyhow, you're supposed to pinch off the baseball size. This is a small baseball size. And kind of form it into a little ball. Then what you do is you start working it with your hands. Now, some of the recipes show that you're supposed to roll it out. Other people say no, you're just supposed to work it with your hands like this, and you're working it into a almost like a pizza dough kind of shape. Now I can tell that this dough is wet. It's too wet probably to handle. So I'm going to put this down for a minute and try and find my, oh, hang on. I'm going to wheel myself out of frame and get the flour. So, you know, talk amongst yourselves. And I will be there. I'll be back in just a sec here. Okay, here we go. That's some flour. I'm back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just pour some of this flour out onto my counter so I can sort of pick it up as I need to. Oops, I've got plenty down in here. I'll just put this out. Yeah, trying to learn to do something that's this skill specific is tough if you don't have someone showing you. So let's see, I'm gonna pick up a little flour on the outside of this, like so, and now I'm going to continue to work it. So by work it, I mean do this. You just kind of work it out from the center, squeezing and pulling the dough. Now they do this interesting hand-to-hand slap thing that I can't quite figure out what the movement is. I'm obviously not doing it correctly because they go real fast. But I'm going to just continue to work this dough out like so. Now, it's also important that you have at least one hole through the center of your dough right before you put it in your pan of oil. And that's so that the whole thing doesn't blow up like a big balloon. It gets puffy, but you want it to be kind of flat in the center. So just continue to work this thing. I'm going to see if I can't flap it from side to side. No, I can't. But it feels like how I've seen people work pizza dough. It kind of looks like it's the same sort of thing. Okay, now that's we got a nice, relatively big one here. I'm going to poke a hole in the center, like so. Now I'm going to kind of just hold this in my hand while I see where we're at in terms of our oil. I'm going to pinch off just a little bit of this dough, and I'm going to throw it in the oil and see if it sizzles. It does, and it floats right to the top. So that suggests that the oil is probably hot enough. So here we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to switch my, switch to the other can. Okay, so I just threw my fry bread into the oil, and it's been in there about 7 seconds. I'm just going to check the bottom. It is not golden yet. You're supposed to wait till they get golden. And it's beginning to get golden. Let's flip her over here. If I had tongs, it would make a lot more sense. I don't. I just have my little... And we'll let that go for a bit. These seem to fry up really quickly. Now, I'm only going to make this one to start with, in part because Grant's not home yet. He's going to be gone for a couple hours. So I'm just going to make one up for myself, going to give it a try, and see where we at. Boy, that fries up darn quick. I mean, I'm getting some little bit of golden brown on the bottom there. So I also put my drainer pan together over here so that I can drain off the oil. All right, that looks like it's a beautiful golden brown on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and turn my fire off, because I'm not going to make another one of these until Grant gets home. So we're going to bring it over here. There we go. There we go. Oops. Sorry, I dropped you again. I'm always doing that. Let's see here. Sorry, you guys. Knowing me, I won't cut all that out. So so here it's the nice golden brown bottom. I could have let it go just a little bit longer on the top, but I think that's okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and assemble this puppy. First, I need to heat up the sauce a little bit before I add that. So I'm going to let this heat up a little bit. I will add that. I will sprinkle some of that and pour on a little bit of this fake cheese. And we'll see what we come up with. Doesn't that look promising? All right. If I were being fancy, I would heat up my chili con queso and it would be pourable or squirtable or whatever. But I'm not. I'm just going to go ahead and slap it on first and get this all kind of smushed around. And next up, I'm going to ladle on my sauce. Let's see here. How's the best way to do this? Probably from this point here. I may get messy, but I'm not too concerned. You know. Everybody back up. The lady in the wheelchair is doing some cooking. There we go. That's what I remembered. That's how it looks. Beautiful. Now, gonna add I don't have any lettuce. I have arugula, but the arugula is such a weird spicy flavor, I think it would detract. So instead, we're just gonna do some tomato and onion. Okay, alrighty. Oh, I can't wait to try this. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to grab myself, well, first I'm going to wash my hand so my fork doesn't slide all over the place. I'm going to get a fork, my favorite. I like to eat with a salad fork, you guys. I don't like a big dinner fork. I always choose a small salad fork. Don't know why. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Is that going to cut off, or have I made something that's just so tough it won't? No, it'll cut off okay. Yeah. All right. So here we go. Let's give this a try. Oh my. Okay, this is tasty. Oh, this is very, very good. Oh, that bread is wonderful. It might be just a little bit tough, but it's not bad. I mean, it chews up easily. It's not real tough, and it's also not real crunchy. Somewhere in between. Oh my goodness. Okay, I would definitely do this again. I need to perfect my fry bread, and I hope I can. I think if I mess around with it some more, I might be able to. But until then, this is a big fat thumbs up. Very, very good. Grant's going to love this when he gets home. Well, my friends, I've managed to hobble back to my chair. I've got some Indian tacos. I've got my ginger beer. I'm going to watch American Gothic, which is scary, and Grant doesn't watch scary shows, so I have to wait for him to leave before I can watch my scary shows. He's off doing the Costco shopping, and I think I'm done for the day. I'll probably clean the kitchen tonight and then hit the sack. So I hope you guys all had a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.